Hi everyone, this is Justine from Impero Property Solutions. So today I am speaking to you from Impero HQ here in Nottingham. I know last time I posted a video, I was at a fantastic networking event in Manchester, and I spoke there a little bit around new investors who tend to let their hearts rule their heads when it comes to property investing. So what I thought I would just speak to you very briefly about today are some of the really important checks that we go through when we look for real outstanding properties for our investors. So a few of the things to think about. The areas that we specialise in, which is the Midlands and South Yorkshire, we look for properties in the £70,000 to £130,000 price range. We specialise in family buy-to-let properties, and for us that is the key price band. So I'm really sorry if you're watching this video and you are based in London or the South East and you have just literally spat your tea out at the thought that you can get a fantastic buy-to-let property in that price range. But for our areas you can. So if you fancy investing slightly further north, then please do get in contact. But some of the other key checks that we undertake: we're interested in the family market, so schools are really, really important. So we look at Ofsted reports and we check the Ofsted reports of any properties that we're looking at and look at the schools in the area. So we are looking for Ofsted reports for local schools that are good or better. And we also check the catchments of those schools. For the parents out there, you will know that quite often one side of the street versus the other side of the street can make the difference in a school catchment. So we are very careful to check that out before we put a property forward. Another key thing, it sounds really obvious, we are looking for family properties, therefore that is 3 or 4 bed properties. Again, we keep hearing from new investors suddenly swayed by a 2-bedroom property. They like the 2-bedroom property because it's on their favourite street, or they like the decor or the garden. Trust me, we've heard these things. So we help investors stick to the mission. A family let is a family let. Don't be distracted by what else you see out there and other houses which suddenly, distract you from your purpose. Also key is public transport, particularly we look at the bus routes, we look at if there's trains. If you're in the fantastic city of Nottingham here, we have the tram as well. We find that in some of the key areas, they're often served by all 3 methods of transport. So checking the transport links out is really important, and we would do that for you. In a similar way, you need to be within 5 miles of a city centre or a town centre. It's key to be near to all those facilities. It really kind of enhances the rental potential of a property. So we're very much looking at, how far out we are from the city centre. There's no point going too far out to get the price down on a property. Your rental yields just don't work on that. We also check rents very carefully. Obviously, we know our areas well, so we have a pretty good idea what they're going to rent for. Nevertheless, when we come to you sort of go back to an area, look at an area, we check with at least 3 local agents as to what the rents are. So we're very careful to make sure there's been no movement, particularly downward movement in rent in that area. We're looking for really buoyant rents, and we know what we need to be achieving. So that kind of brings us on to cash flow, and that's obviously the important bit of why you would invest in property. We want to get for our investors properties that are at the very least 7% yield, where when you take off the mortgage and the rent, that's what you need to be making. 7%, way in excess of what you're going to get by putting that money in a bank. But that's as a very minimum what you need to be achieving from your property, and that's what we absolutely aim to get. We stress test that as well. So mortgage rates, brilliant that mortgage rates are low at the moment, but we try to future-proof it. So we'll stress test it with higher mortgage rates to still make sure that you're getting positive cash flow out that property. And what we also do is we look at the property values and the property sold prices for the past year. So what have houses been selling for in that area over the past year? We have a look at that. What we want to see, as well as ideally, if you hold on to that property, we want to see some equity growth. On a different video, I'll explain how actually that equity growth can help you in the longer term grow a portfolio. So that is something else that we are really keen to look for. We look at rental demand. So not only do we want to know what the levels of the rent are, we look at rental demand. We've got several ways that we test that there's high rental demand in a particular area. We can tell you more about that. If you want to get in touch with us, we can tell you how we do that. And obviously, when we're looking at all those pricing factors, we want to know that we're getting a good deal on the property overall when you buy it, so ideally a below market value property. So it's really with all those checks around pricing and rental that we can ensure we're doing that. So if that sounds like a lot of hassle for you, and before you invest in property, you need somebody to take the strain of doing all that work for you, and just really see what we as professional investors and deal sources can do for you, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hopefully we'll keep putting videos on with more information for you. Subscribe to our social media. You can have a look at what we're up to every day and just have a look at some of the properties that we're buying currently. And hopefully we look forward to speaking to you. Please do get in touch and we can explain a lot more about what we do and how we can help you. Thanks for listening.